Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to dive into affirmations. I think we've all encountered them at some point. And I know I've always wondered why these positive phrases work so well for some, and then for others, they just don't seem to have much effect.
Yeah, I think that's the real question, isn't it? It makes you wonder what's really going on when we're saying these affirmations. Um, from what we've looked at, they're essentially positive declarations we consciously repeat to try to embed these messages within our subconscious minds, to gradually replace those self-limiting beliefs. Whether it's confidence, success, relationships, or health, the principle's the same.
So let's break this down further. What are we actually trying to do when we're using these affirmations?
Well, think of it like this. You're cultivating a garden, right? But this garden is your mind, and the affirmations are the seeds you're deliberately planting. If you plant tomatoes in your garden, you expect tomatoes to grow, right?
Of course.
It's the same with your mind. Whatever you consistently plant, you're much more likely to harvest. And that's where the repetition comes in. When you repeat something enough times, it starts to gain a foothold. It begins to resonate as more truthful. And importantly, you start to believe it on a deeper level.
Right, it's almost like practicing a skill. At first, it feels awkward and unfamiliar, but over time, as you repeat it, it becomes second nature.
Exactly.
So affirmations, they seem to be targeting a deeper level within us, this idea of the subconscious.
That's right. And some sources suggest that the subconscious might actually be responsible for as much as 95% of our actions. That's a pretty significant chunk.
Wow, 95%.
So if our subconscious is filled with limiting beliefs or negativity, it can make it very difficult to make positive changes in our lives.
Okay, that makes sense.
Affirmations, they aim to bypass that conscious, critical mind and go straight to the source, to the subconscious. They're kind of like little messages, positive suggestions being implanted at that deeper level.
I see. So they're like seeds being planted in the subconscious garden. But for some folks, this might sound a little far-fetched. Like, can just repeating positive phrases really have that kind of impact? Is there any scientific basis for this? I mean, I've even felt this way sometimes.
It's a fair question. A lot of people might wonder if it's all just wishful thinking. But there actually is some scientific evidence to suggest that affirmations might work. One concept that comes up is neuroplasticity. It essentially means that our brains are not fixed. They're constantly changing, reorganizing, forming new connections.
Okay, so our brains are more adaptable than we might think.
Exactly. And the exciting thing is, these changes can be influenced by our experiences,
Yeah.
by what we learn, and yes, by the thoughts we repeatedly think. So consistently practicing affirmations could actually contribute to rewiring our brains. It's almost like creating new pathways, reinforcing those positive thought patterns.
So you're saying that by focusing on these positive affirmations, we're actually physically changing our brains.
That's the idea. And as you reinforce those pathways, those positive thoughts become more automatic, more natural. There's also this thing called the reticular activating system, the RAS.
The RAS.
It might sound a bit technical, but bear with me. The RAS acts like a filter for all the information that our brain's processing. It decides what's important, what we should pay attention to. So if you're constantly repeating affirmations, let's say I am successful, your RAS might start to filter your environment differently. You might suddenly start noticing opportunities, resources, even people that align with that belief.
So it's not that those things weren't there before, it's that our brain wasn't turned in to see them.
Exactly. You're essentially telling your brain what to focus on, and it starts finding evidence to support it.
I'm starting to see how all this fits together.
But it's not just about the words themselves. The material we studied really emphasizes the importance of emotion and belief. You can't just say the words mechanically. You have to actually feel them, believe them, for them to really resonate.
That makes sense. So it's not just lip service. You have to really buy into it.
Absolutely.
Now, even with all this potential, a lot of people try affirmations and just give up. What are some common mistakes people make?
That's a great question. And there are definitely some pitfalls to avoid. One of the biggest ones is exactly what we just talked about, saying affirmations without any real feeling or belief behind them. If you're saying, I'm confident, but inside you're thinking, not really, your subconscious is going to pick up on that. It can sense the disconnect.
It's like trying to convince someone of something you don't even believe yourself.
Exactly. Another common mistake is inconsistency. Just like learning any new skill, Affirmations take time and repetition. You can't just say them once and expect a miracle. You have to be consistent, practice them regularly over weeks, even months, to really see the effects.
So it's a commitment, not a quick fix.
Absolutely. Then there's the issue of using negative language. The material gave a good example of this,
Yeah.
saying, I am not in debt. While the intention is good, the focus is still on the word debt. A much better approach would be to frame it positively, like, I am financially abundant. You want to focus on what you want, not on what you don't want.
That's a good point. It's about directing your attention towards the positive.
Yeah. And finally, affirmations are not a magic wand. They're a tool. You can't just say, I am healthy, while living an unhealthy lifestyle. You have to take action that aligns with your affirmations. They provide the mental framework, the belief, but you still need to put in the work.
So it's a partnership between inner work and outer actions.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about what not to do. Now let's get to the good stuff. What are some tips for actually making affirmations work better, faster?
There are definitely some techniques that can really boost the power of affirmations. One is using the present tense. Instead of saying, I will be successful, you say, I am successful.
I am successful.
It's subtle, but it makes a difference. You're essentially telling your subconscious that this is already your reality, making it more believable and impactful.
So it's about owning that state of being in the present moment.
Exactly. And again, we come back to emotions. When you're saying your affirmations, try to really feel the emotions that go along with them, the excitement, the joy, the confidence, as if you've already achieved what you're affirming.
So it's not just about the words, it's about embodying the feeling.
Right. Visualization is another powerful technique. You can close your eyes and actually picture yourself achieving your goal. See it, feel it, even imagine the sounds and sensations. It's like creating a mental movie that makes it more real for your subconscious.
So we're engaging all our senses in this process.
Yes. And consistency is key. Try to incorporate affirmations into your daily routine, especially in the mornings and evenings when your subconscious might be more receptive. Journaling your affirmations can also be helpful. The physical act of writing them down can reinforce the message. And there's also mirror work.
Mirror work. So looking at yourself in the mirror while saying these affirmations.
Yeah. It can feel a little awkward at first, but it's a powerful way to connect with yourself and build self-belief.
I can see how that could be impactful.
And finally, always remember, actions speak louder than words. The more your actions align with your affirmations, the faster you're likely to see results. It's about creating that harmony between your inner and outer world.
So affirmations are kind of like setting the intention, and then your actions are what bring it to life.
Exactly.
To wrap things up, can we give our listeners some concrete examples of affirmations they can start using?
Absolutely. Here are a few. For abundance, you could say, I am a magnet for wealth and success. For relationships, I attract loving and healthy relationships effortlessly. For confidence, I am enough. I believe in myself completely. For health, my body is strong, healthy, and full of energy. And for success, I achieve my goals with ease and confidence.
Those are really powerful examples. It's clear how they're framed in the present tense with a positive focus.
Right. And the key is to find the affirmations that resonate with you, the ones that feel most aligned with your goals.
So just to recap, affirmations are much more than just positive thinking. They're a tool for tapping into the power of our subconscious minds and shaping our reality.
Precisely. They remind us that we have the power to create change from within.
And the most effective approach involves a combination of powerful words, strong emotions, vivid visualization, consistent action, and belief.
Absolutely.
And as a final takeaway for our listeners today, think about one small, tangible action you can take right now that aligns with an affirmation that resonates with you. What might happen if you started consistently pairing that affirmation with that action?
Yeah, what might change?
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into affirmations. We hope you found it insightful
And empowering.
See you next time on the